afternoon. Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lorianne Casdia. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you. Today we have a great guest. Her name is Donna Martini. She is an author, a wellness coach, and an activist, and has just come out with her My Mini Book of Mighty Mantras, and we want to have a conversation about that. In the meantime, I just want to remind you, if you have any questions or if you'd like to contact us about Healthy Lifestyle and the topics we cover, and or ask us to cover some topics or have any questions about what we talk about, please email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. And I just want to invite our guest into the studio today, Donna Martini. Hi, Donna.
Hello, it's nice to be back again.
It's good to see you again. You look great. I love your haircut.
Well, thank you.
No worries. So your My Mini Book of Mighty Mantras was published recently, right?
Yes, it was just launched on Amazon in December, and it's actually, when it's called My Mini Book of Mighty Mantras, it's whoever holds the book. As you can see, because you're holding in your hand right now, the audience can't hear, but see. But I don't have my name on the book on the front cover as the author. So it's really about the person holding it. And all of the messages are written in third person, and then the mantras are written in first person, meaning you as the holder of the book. Right.
I love that it's a book of daily reminders of power, purpose, and potential. I like that you put that in there. That's it's a wonderful thing. So let's talk about mantras. I get, as a mindset mentor coach, I get a lot of questions about mantras because I talk about changing habits. And the number one habit we all have to change are those tapes that we play in our head over and over and over and over again. And I know you have stats about how many times we really have these dialogues in our head, but the number one question I get is, so they do a mantra, how long do they have to do the mantra for before it, air quotes, works? And more importantly, can they do multiple mantras at the same time?
Okay, so let's start with what mantra is. It's a tool of the mind. That's exactly what the meaning is of that word, which is really cool because we need tools. We need a lot of tools with these heads of ours, and they usually will go into a very human direction. And we have to constantly keep ourselves in more of a spiritual mindset, move towards goodness, rather than judgment and ridicule or anything else, especially of ourselves.
Yeah, we're the worst, right?
We are our worst enemy, but if we're our own worst enemy, it stands to reason we can also be our own best friend. So how often are you saying, love yourself? How often are you saying, we make mistakes, love yourself anyway? How often are you congratulating yourself for a job well done, even staying focused for 5 minutes or getting someplace on time? Or instead we're in the car the whole entire way, agonizing over whether they're going to get somewhere on time. Instead, we could be saying in our mind over and over, I'm going to pull up, there's going to be a parking spot. You could be saying to yourself all these positive things.
Right.
And guess what? That's the future you'll walk into or drive into in this case.
Right. Because our minds set our future.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We're choosing directions. We're choosing what we say. We're choosing how we feel every minute of the day. And so we're walking into whatever future we're preparing for through our minds and through our emotions.
Right. So I know that I've said this for a very long time, that no one can say anything harsher to me than I do to myself or to ourselves. We really aren't nice to ourselves. We have to start there, and then it bleeds out to everybody else, because then you're feeling warm, you're feeling good about yourself. And you see it from a positive. That's that angle change that I talk about with the camera lenses, changing angles from finding joy, seeing things positively, coming out of our ego, going into our observer, looking at things negative, moving into the positive. And I really think the mantras are the way to do that, to change that mindset. Those tapes that we create, the I can't doesn't exist when you're saying, I can. Why can't I? Why not me? Right? Why can't I? I'm going to.
Well, as I actually wrote it in the book, as a kid who had dyslexia, I was constantly challenged, and I was actually hit on the hand with a ruler when I was very young, and I think it was kindergarten, by the nuns in my school because I couldn't write correctly. I was writing everything backwards, and they didn't know about dyslexia in the 1960s. So when you're ridiculed or actually beaten or hurt based on your twisted mind, you're kind of hiding it for a long time. You don't know what to do about it. So I actually developed the mantra after my favorite book, The Little Engine That Could.
Oh, yeah.
And I kept saying, I think I can. And then, that turned into, I know I can, because after you do things, after you accomplish, you realize you can if you just try. And the only failure would be to never try.
Right. I've never heard somebody say, I'm so upset. I wish I hadn't tried.
Right.
I've never heard anybody say that. It's always, I wish I did.
Well, I know a few people in a few relationships that probably would say they are regret trying, but whatever.
That might be a little different. I'm not sure. It's funny because I'm a believer when you get books like this is that on any day, you kind of thumb through the pages and wherever it lands, that's something on that page is what you're supposed to, what message you're supposed to have. And it's funny. I've just randomly opened this book 3 times and I keep getting to the same page.
That's pretty cool.
It's really, really cool.
You should read it.
So, one of the mantras that just popped out at me is life without love is like breathing without oxygen. Love deeply today. That's beautiful. That's so
I actually
lovely.
have a really cool cartoon. Because the book comes with a mascot. The mascot is Mantra Mouse.
Yes, he's cute. And
Mantra Mouse is for all ages, because who doesn't love a cartoon, right? But I also wanted to appeal to children, and I wanted to do something fun corporate-wise to do like in posters or whatever, or T-shirts, or to spread the message. And I just did a really cool cartoon that goes with that, and it's showing Mantra Mouse basically in a mountain pose, yoga pose, just closed eyes, taking a deep breath, and the heart's just emanating out love energy. And so these kids can do this. They don't realize, and we don't realize that we've proven that you can intend to pour love out of yourself, and it can be measured now. The energy of love can be measured coming out of your body and radiating. And also it can change the energy in a room, which we also don't realize is science proven.
Sure. Well, we you can walk into a room and change it. Mm-hmm. It goes to the old thing about just smiling at someone else. You never know how you impact their lives. Mm-hmm. And just doing it, that act, doing it yourself, changes your day, can change your day. It makes you feel better.
And most people think that's a physical thing, but just creating the intention to do that is a loving act, which creates an energy of love that is communicated soul to soul. So it goes way deeper than just that physical act.
So how do they scientifically measure that?
I don't know how to describe the machines because I'm not an engineer and I certainly don't do that. But you can look up any number of some of the bigger writers now that are doing the science and spirituality, like Greg Braden or Joe Dispenza. They're very involved.
Yes.
Listen to any of their news podcast, their radio podcasts, or read their books. And they'll go into some of the science. I've gotten a lot from it over the years because I was saying this decades ago without proof.
Yep.
I was saying it without proof because I could feel it. I knew the difference in myself. And I also knew when I was coaching people for decades, when I can feel the change in their energy. I knew when they were in ego and I knew when they were in soul.
Right.
It was something that registered with me.
Right.
So I could understand that this was a resonation on an energetic cellular level, but I couldn't prove it. And also way back, we have some of our biggest, from Socrates all the way through Einstein, they were saying this as well. But again, there wasn't machinery to prove it.
Right. And because scientifically they want to be able to point to why and how it's happening.
Exactly.
So whereas I think you and I, empathically can feel it walking into a room and the changes and shifts in room. I've said that too, where I've been in a room and speeches were being made and I actually felt the shift in the room during the speech.
Sure.
Because of what they were saying.
And some people are more in tune. We're all feeling it, but we all don't understand it. And sometimes we'll just think it's our own shift in our own self, or we just don't like something and we don't realize there's an energy change. There's a lot of our children, our young people are very empathic and they're feeling everything and they're getting depressed. They're getting suicidal. We have an uprise in all kinds of drugs to try to deal with this, whether it's recreational drugs, alcohol, or prescription drugs. Like, antidepressants and things. Yeah. The energy is palpable now. And we think there is a shift going on and that's bigger and more profound than just our politics. It could be what's making things politically so uptight right now because there is a move and a shift towards love and goodness. And some people are going to fight that.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Because, if you go and try to be genuine, people who are intimidated by that are going to try to downplay it. Because then it can't be controlling.
Exactly.
See, what's happening now is people are being controlled and we're kind of like drifting through life. We're not living our lives. What's happening is our young people are actually living life and that's why they're feeling it so fervently.
But if we were having leadership lead us in a direction of loving goodness without any kind of political agenda attached, we would be moving towards unity and we would also be teaching and educating and gently guiding the future instead of ramming it down each other's throats. So it's not coming from the soul. You can tell it's not coming from soul because it's not a symbiotic outcome.
Yeah, well,
it's what I want, what I want, what I want.
Yes. Well, when you're a leader who jams things down people's throats, as opposed to truly leading and letting it develop itself, those are different leadership style. One is very controlling, and the other is actually coming from the soul with that goodness that you're looking for. So with our population really feeling it a lot more, being more attuned, because people like yourself are bringing it and elevating it, and myself elevating it to people's attention day to day.
Trying anyway.
We are working real hard to do that, right? So how can one utilize the mantras? I mean, I know the answer to this, but I'd love your answer to it. Utilizing these mantras to help make that process gentler for yourself, because at the end of the day, there are going to be good people and there are going to be not so good people. There are going to be people who are going to approach things in a positive way and not so, but you can really master control over how you do your day, as opposed to being as persuaded by other people what your day is going to look like.
Exactly. We don't want come what may days. We want to walk into the day that we're destined to have, that we want to have, that we're, predicated on what our goals are. If you are a goal-driven person who wants to live the best life you can, you're already going to be attracted to this book.
Yes.
But if you are someone who doesn't understand your own power to lead and guide that way, if you feel like a victim, you'll want to read this book, and you might feel uncomfortable reading it because it really tries to get people to take personal responsibility for everything they attract and the life they're leading. Now, what's good about that is because if we can take responsibility for what we're attracting, what we're walking into, that means we can change it. And if you're feeling like a victim, you want to feel like a victor, this is the book for you. Yeah. And it's just one tool, by the way. If you are desiring your best life, you may be led to my mini book of Mighty Mantras. You might start doing the mantras. And in there, I describe, it'll help you to stay positive, which will lead and guide you to the right seminars, to the right people, coaches,
right.
the right situations. Maybe it'll lead and guide you to clean your house in feng shui, or to change your diet, or to the right nutritionist, or you'll discover all of a sudden you have food allergies, what's triggering moods. It's endless what could be going on inside your mind and body. And so the book teaches what's called positive manipulation. And that's a trademark phrase I created many years ago to describe the process I was doing to myself. I was positively manipulating my own mind, my own heart, my own emotions, and physically my own body to try to be better and better at being me. And I recognized very early on that food was creating an issue with me, definitely changing my moods. So sensitive to sugar and so many other things, giving me a lot of symptoms that I didn't need to deal with. It was just food related. And that's basically where it started. Feng shui, which is understanding the energy that you're living in, even in your car. If you're thinking about where you're going every day and where you want to go, think about your car. If it's trashed, you're driving around with a ton of baggage. Clean it out. It's going to help you get clearer about where you want to go. Simple things every day that lead and guide us to the life we want to lead. And that's what this book is about. It's 4x6. It's so tiny.
Yeah, it's great. It fits in a back pocket, right?
Yeah, it fits in a back pocket of Levi jeans. I already tested it out.
Yeah, we did today.
It fits in your purse. You could put it in your desk drawer. You can put it on your bed, your nightstand next to your bed. But basically, it's meant to just soulfully make an intention to hear what you need to hear and be open to hearing it too. That's the biggest thing. Do
they have to do you recommend that when somebody uses a mantra, they do it for 30 days, they do it one day is enough, they do multiple mantras at the same time? What do you recommend? Well,
it's really funny about us is we have a better memory than we think. So if we do a mantra all day long, if we really intend it and start repeating it, putting it in our phone or writing up on a wall or whatever, you'll retain that. You'll start hearing that a week from now, 2 weeks from now when you need it. If you feel you need it more, if you love it so much, you'll repeat it every day, but you can always pick another mantra the next day. You have thousands of thoughts a day. The fact is, if you wanted to replace some of your negative thoughts with all these positive mantras, it's going to become like routine. And science has proven we can change our genes. Okay, we can change our genes with negativity. So imagine how we can change our genes back with positivity. And that's the whole key to this book. This book and many other tools that are out there. Music is one, but sound healing and doing this with music is even triple the effect. Layer it another time. Put essential oils with it. Layer it another time. Do it while you're in the shower around water, because you're mostly water molecules anyway. You're almost exclusively water molecules. So you might as well take advantage of that. Do it by the shore. Do it in the woods. Do physically stand in a Superman pose while you're doing it. And you're going to be even more confident about your direction that you're taking and how you're changing your own mind and your own emotions to equal where you really, really want to go, not where you don't want to go.
Love it. Love it. Here's another one that I opened to. Love and forgiveness should be our preferred weapons against our own anger. Any negative tactic we use as revenge will return more negative and cause more pain. Choose instead to bring forth love and positive gain. Love it. Love it. Love it.
And
so
that's
true.
The mantra. The
So
mantra
true.
was, I choose to just move forward with love and positive gain.
Right.
So basically it's set up where you have a message and then the mantra is in quotes and bold and italics so that you'll know which part you can repeat. Sometimes people need to repeat the whole message because they just need it inculcated. We learn best through constant repetition.
Right.
And so if you have a mindset that you need to change, that you know this is an old belief system, it's not helping you or working for you, how do I change that? I try to write the messages and mantras to have common sense, to say, you know what, whatever you're sowing, you're going to reap. You might as well make it good.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't want judgment to come back to you, then it makes sense. You can't judge others. Even in your own mind, you're creating an energy and you're changing parts of your own body on a cellular level by doing it. So let's flip that and start looking at the other person and seeing their soul. See what good is there from them rather than judgment.
Yeah, it definitely changes how your day progresses. You don't take it on. And that's one thing that we all do as empaths. We take it on. And then it's very hard to discern what's a them issue and what's an us issue. And that's something I'm writing a book on, is the them issue, us issue factor. Being able to discern, whether or not it's you or if it's just them going through something, and not in a judgmental way. It's just that people have a journey to go on. And most of the time it's not the journey you want to go on. Or sometimes it's not the journey you want to go on, and you have to allow them to go on their journey without taking it on personally. And I find that that's when mantras come in. Mantras are similar to the counting to 10, where you try to calm yourself and bring yourself out of a situation, which may or may not be a situation. Sometimes we kind of make everything into major. Do you ever know somebody who, no matter what it is, everything is like out of 10? It's like, this is the worst thing, horrible thing. And it's just,
Yeah, as a wellness coach,
day.
I work with people who are that, and I try to bring them down to what's real, and sometimes they're working on an energy now in a simplistic duty jobs that we're doing together, but it's based on them losing their wife to cancer 20 years ago, or whatever, it's like,
Sure.
It's an energy that carries forward and makes everything seem bigger than it really is. But I wanted to add to you the idea that, there's philosophies that would say that no matter what we're encountering, even if it's someone else in their own stuff that we're experiencing, we were meant to share that. And potentially we might be even triggering someone and not even realize it. We might be triggering something because we're happy and they're not. Their stuff is coming out, but it's actually us who triggered that.
Right.
And so we can apologize for that. Soul to soul. There's a Ho'oponopono prayer.
Oh, I love that.
Which is great. So we can silently say it, or we can actually say it out loud if it gets to that point. There's something about me that's triggering you. I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't intend that. And if I can help you, please let me do so. We can also be saying to ourselves in that moment, okay, something's not right. Something's not comfortable. What is it about me? What truth can I hear? Is there something I need to hear for myself as well? Am I mirroring? Am I this? Am I that? Whatever. Just then shut up and then allow soul to speak. And you're going to hear something profound. You're going to be like, they need to talk to you right now. And then you'll say to them, what's going on in your life? Talk to me. I'd love to hear and all of a sudden they're starting to change their energy because now they know you care. We don't even realize we're human. We're not doing everything right all the time.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Okay. The fact is we're made human. We're going to make mistakes.
Well, we're here to learn.
Right. We're here to learn every second though.
Yeah.
So when it's no matter who is creating an energetic shift at that moment, we're still part of that shift. So we can always decide that we have a participation in it. So ask what the participation is. And when we say that, it's not about fault or blame.
Right.
It's about taking responsibility and then seeing what kind of outcome you want to create.
Right. And what you're going to do with it.
Exactly. Like you could walk away and say, oh, they have a lot of crap going on right now in their life. I don't want to deal with that. What is this big saying on Facebook all the time? I see it in posts. Is run from negative people. Run from negative people. Stay away from negative people. Basically, they need us the most. If you're a positive person, you understand and know that you have more potential to help someone else change out of a bad mood than they have for them to change you into a bad mood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're tenuous about your emotions and about your ability to love, then maybe a negative person's going to scare the crap out of you,
It's true. But when we come back, I really want to talk about this because I think that we're supposed to be near that person for a reason, be it for them or for ourselves. But either way, we both learn. But what is in our control is whether or not we learn from it. And sometimes the learn is that we need to let them go and let them be who they are. And sometimes showing that kindness, well, we'll talk about this when we get back. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori Ann. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas on topics you'd like to hear more about, please send us an email at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. And of course, follow us on social media at Healthy Lifestyle with LA. I always appreciate anybody's questions or comments, and I make it a point to make sure I get back to each and every one of you. So thank you so much for communicating with us. Here we are talking with Donna Martini. We're going to continue talking about my mini book of Mighty Mantras that came out. It's on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. I love that you have this book, but you also have wellness programs for companies that you bring this into to help them. How do you work that? Do you work it through the HR department?
It depends. If it's sometimes a small business about the owner, sometimes I start out working with the owner and then we bring it into the company. They have a saying, it's not my saying, but it's a phenomenal saying. The speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack.
Yes.
So a lot of times if you want to change the direction of your company, you're thinking you need to help your employees, but it starts with you. And then we can expand from that. But sometimes, there's an office culture situation. It could be one person in a group of, say, 30 who is really bringing on some negative energy. And everybody else feels disempowered by it. Well, I can come in there and teach everyone about what they actually have. Their hearts are powerful weapons, as we say, against negativity. And they have the power to create positive change for themselves and everybody around them. And how do you want to go to work every day? Do you want to go happy to work, or do you want to be miserable and hate, showing up?
No, we want to go happy.
Right. And that also affects your physical self.
Oh, it really does.
Right?
It affects you on so many levels. Right. Your energy level, your productivity level. So that's why bringing a program like this into your company makes a lot of sense. It really does, because the productivity will soar. I know companies that bring in mentors like yourself and myself that they see an extreme difference almost immediately. If not immediately, because you change the mindset. It's just different. Walking in and having a smile on your face could change your whole day and other people's. So that brings me back to, that we're meant to share our emotions. And you had said something about how we react to somebody else and what their reaction to us is. You'd mentioned mirroring and some other elements and aspects. So let's go through a couple of those so our listeners can kind of, have a better understanding about what we're talking about. This is kind of our language, and I think the average bear doesn't really think about it this way. Right. So I love mirroring, where when you meet somebody, are they mirroring to you what you're projecting and something that you need to work on?
Well, let's talk about energetically speaking. Mm-hmm. And since I am definitely not a therapist or a counselor or anything like that, I didn't go to that kind of training. I'm always speaking on an energetic level because that's my expertise.
Sure.
And basically everybody is sitting in and emanating out in energy. It's all based on electromagnetic frequencies, and they're generated by our brain and our heart.
Right.
And so what you're thinking and what you're emoting together creates a feeling. So now you're coming and walking into a situation. You're within 3 feet of someone else. They have their own energy, their situation, predicated on what they did yesterday, what they ate, what they came from in the morning, what they're dealing with stress-wise. So you both have this whole kind of thing going on. Now you come together and you're thinking, if they're in a bad mood, you're not taking responsibility for what you may be bringing to the table, because you might be coming in, as we said, in a glorious mood,
right.
And it's pissing the other person off that they can't be there. So, or the opposite, you may be coming with a heavy load and depression. Maybe you put a fake smile on your face because it's the nice thing to do, but there's still a lot of emotional turmoil going on. Well, that other person can feel, even if they're not empathic. Everyone is an empath anyway. They just don't understand what they're feeling.
Right.
And they can't decipher. and maybe they're not trained at all in understanding it. So now you're coming together with someone and maybe it's not working well. Maybe it doesn't feel good. So at that moment is when you need to say, what's going on? First of all, you can pour more love into it. We tend to want to what? Protect ourselves.
Sure.
Instead of projecting more love, we kind of build a little wall around it.
It's seemingly harder, but it's actually easier to instead of building a wall, that's harder than projecting the love out.
Well, the love is your best wall, and the wall penetrates all negativity. So it's like, think of it as a powerful force field that literally protects you from negativity, but pushes out as love. Now, it doesn't blow the other person away.
No.
It connects with them if they choose to. Otherwise, it just stays, and it sort of like emanates around. So that person is now lifted by you if they choose to, but there is no potential now for them to come back ego to ego with you if you don't put the ego on.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Well, you don't get into that.
It's soul to ego at that point.
Right.
But here's the deal. If we don't do that, then we're ego to ego and the other person has no potential to lift unless they choose to be in the soul. Now, if they're already in a negative state, that's doubtful.
Yeah. It's a hard lift.
It's a hard lift.
It's a hard lift.
But you're coming in saying, you know what? I choose to do the, quote, good and right thing right now for yourself and also for them, by potentially for them, because you can't force another person to connect to you this way. But if you do it, there's so much more potential for that wonder.
And I totally agree with this. And this jumps into we're here to learn, but we're also here to serve one another. Right. And one way to serve another is to not go internal on yourself and go external and give the other person that love, project that to them.
And giving the benefit of the doubt, because you don't even know if what you're projecting to them is stuff that really isn't good either. You may think you're coming to the table okay, but there could be some situation going on, or it could be the way you look. It could be the way you're dressed. Yeah. And I always say perception is 9/10 the law. So whatever someone else's perception of you, they own that. So do you. You have to own it too until you can change it.
Right.
By pouring love in, they might not feel intimidated by you. They might not feel, motivated to or instantly not like you because you dress so well and they can't afford it, or you look so good, or you're thinner. I mean, I don't know how many people hated me because I was a size 2. And when I finally realized that, I'm like, okay, I got to start with love immediately, because I don't want to make someone feel bad about themselves because I work out. And it sounds silly. It almost sounds a little arrogant, but truth be told, this does affect other people.
I don't think it sounds arrogant. I think the reality is that we make jump decisions on other people based on how they look.
And it's okay. We're human. We do
and
that.
It's really nice. I'm sure each of us have had an experience where the initial feeling about somebody changes and they're not that person, because you sit there and go, oh, they're this, they're that. And then all of a sudden they turn around and they show this niceness, and it goes in a whole different direction than you've projected that you thought it was going to. I love those days.
Right. And what if I was walking through with a little bit of arrogance because of the
protection,
because I was protecting myself. Yeah. The other part is I realized my whole idea of being a wellness coach and being physically fit and walking the talk is because I want more and more people to live this lifestyle. So if I can't project, I want them to say, wow, I want to be like that.
Yes.
I want to be motivated like her.
Yes.
If I can't project that, I'm not a good coach. I had to figure out how to switch that around.
Yes.
And it was an awesome day, that realization, to take responsibility for what I was giving off. And by the way, I actually put it out in an email to 13 people in my life. I don't know why I chose that number. But I said, if I could change something about myself, what would it be? And one of the girls came back. One of the women that I sent it out to came back with that. And so that's where I realized I need to work on this, because some people are going to get that response when they see me. I have to be the one to create a different...
Well, you're beautiful. So that would be intimidating.
And it really was more about walking straight, being okay in my body, all those different energies that are given off.
But one thing that you are doing by taking care of yourself, being beautiful, you're a very humble person. I've known you for a while now, and you're very humble, and you're just giving. You just want to give back. I mean, everything that you do is pro bono, with the exception, I think, of the corporate work that you do. And that's a way for you to generate funds allow you to be able to give back the way that you do and really serve the community and help them understand themselves better. But I find that, we can't run through life or walk through life protecting ourselves from what other people are thinking, because quite frankly, it's not our business what other people think. However, your positivity, your positiveness is catchy. And so people they want to be like you. They want to feel like that. They want to look like you. That's all good stuff, though. That's really all good stuff. It's really funny you're saying this, because I was doing some Facebook Live a couple of weeks ago, and I was waking up in the morning. Basically, I was just putting my fingers through my hair and getting in front of the camera and doing a mantra a day. And I had people coming on saying, you need a vacation. You look tired. You look sick. You look like you've been crying. One of my friends actually called me and said, Donna, this is not good. We're counting on the perfect hair, the perfect skin, and the perfect teeth. We're used to that.
What pressure. Now I can't. Mother Teresa didn't have to worry about this. I was like, all I want to do is just spread love and goodness. I prayed about it. I meditated on it. And I realized that I do have to project my best self. And if they're expecting someone who is living their best life, I've got to look like I am. It's not like, listen, I was not waking up looking horrendous, but cameras don't do very much for you. The fisheye on your computer lens on a Facebook HD is not going to make you look good, right? You have to. It's
hard to make you look bad, Donna. Let's be honest.
Trust me when I tell you. Trust me when I tell you. Before you put it together, I'm 58 years old, so you got to put on the makeup, and that's what I need to do to show people how much I care about them. I'm doing this every morning for you, so that I'm okay. A, and B, I care enough because I want you to live your best life as well.
Yes. Well, again, you're a walking model. Figuratively and literally. You're listening to Healthy Lifestyle on Long Island News Radio 103.9. I am Lorianne Casdia, and we are speaking to Donna Martini, and she is just inspiring. I love that. Yeah, I love that you went on the camera without, God bless you. That's very brave that you go on the camera. A lot of people can't do that. People like yourself and myself, we really don't mind that much. But doing it completely washed face, the whole 9 yards, it is not forgiving. Not in any way, shape, and it's very, very close. I'd like to back up the computer for half a mile and be much happier with that lens as opposed to being as close as it is.
Well, I got to tell you, I actually spent 2 hours that day checking on lighting. I had a halo light. I was figuring out what lens to use. I had to order another extended camera. I figured out where to sit. I figured out I should wear hats because I have a very tiny head and I look weird on film. So I just put a hat on. Everybody loves it. They love the darn hat. So you know what? Whatever makes people happy, it's okay. It's just an extra added on thing that I can do to show people out. When cameras get better and we start looking better on camera than worse, then I don't have to worry about it as much. But until you see me in person, you may think I'm sick or whatever. No, that's not good. A wellness coach shouldn't be walking around looking like that.
That's true. And just like respect begets respect, caring about yourself gets the other people to care about you. And they do care about you because they were concerned. You didn't look like you normally look. And so they showed how you were impacting their lives. And I think that's very, very deep. I really like that.
Meanwhile, I thought I was evolving as a person because I wasn't so vain. I really legitimately thought this.
Well, you are evolving as a person. We all do if we're working on ourselves. But I don't know if it takes not doing the makeup again. It's not like you have a lot of makeup on right now.
No.
And absolutely stunning.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely stunning. And you're in workout clothes too. So I
love radio.
Love
radio.
I hear you. I hear you, girl. I hear you. It's like, it doesn't matter what I wear. Except Brian, our producer, has to see us. So sorry about that, Brian. But
you look gorgeous. So don't believe that she's not dressed in workout clothes like I
am. Well, that helps me project positively, right?
Absolutely.
When I feel good about myself.
Important. Yeah. I work at home, and truth be told, I started getting ready for everybody in the morning to do the mantras. I was working better during the day. Yeah. And I had just been asking, how could I be more productive? And this whole thing came up. And little did I know that I would become more productive by loving my audience and my friends more by showing a better face.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, but that goes to what you said earlier, is you put it out there, and the answer came back, and it doesn't always come back the way you expect it to come back, and you took notice of it. And that's the thing that we're trying to get across here. I think one of many things here is that when you're doing mantras, when you're using your mini book of mighty mantras, you really need to take notice, be aware. Are you seeing changes? Is it changing your day? Are you having better days because you're really focusing on being in a good place yourself, because everything we have, we come with from, we're factory installed with all the things that we need. We just have to unpack it. And sometimes I think we keep things
magnificent machines, really, truly gifted healing mechanisms. Yeah. And we're rejuvenating and restoring every cell in our body nonstop all day. So why wouldn't we be doing that to our thoughts and belief systems, especially if they're rooted in our childhood issues or pains or hurts, or we're listening to too many people on television and too many opinions. And, if nothing else, this last year and a half, 2 years, we've learned that a lot of people we're hearing on TV are full of hot air. Right. They're some of them are actually doing unlawful things. And we, if nothing else, we can finally say, my opinion matters more, meaning ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. And truth matters more. We should be asking for truth every day, and that's going to come out.
I always say that, let me decide. Give me all the facts and I'll decide for myself. And we could agree to disagree, but just give me the facts. I don't need your opinion. And that's one of the things I think our media has gone to, and television and movies.
It's all opinion
more.
Shows
it's
now.
all opinions to shift your opinion, as opposed to kind of giving you facts and letting you decide and discern how it moves you. That's why I love movies. I don't really watch TV anymore. I used to be a news junkie, very, very involved in news, staying, and it's very, very toxic. It's also, a lot of the information is wrong. And I love the fact that now, if I want a certain opinion, I just go to a certain channel. I don't even have to work at it. Right. If you want one opinion, you go to this station. If you want another opinion, you go to the other station. And it's very easy to get lulled into this. This is how the world thinks. Everybody thinks this way, when that's not it. And most importantly, it's what you think.
Well, and I want to point out is that this might be considered an opinion show, but I want people to know that I've spent countless years of my life researching before I wrote this book. This book is from many, many years of my writings, and I fine-tuned into a little tiny handbook to make it easier. But they're all the tools I used over the years to heal myself of Crohn's disease, to overcome dyslexia, and to go through a divorce. And it's just endless, and I became very successful in my career doing all of these before I even understood what I was doing.
Right.
I wrote it all down. I wasn't even a writer when I wrote it down. Okay. I called it positive manipulation, and I didn't even know what it meant before I understood energy. And now, coming forward, I realized it was almost prophecy, that this is a process that we can undertake, and our energy is real, and it's measured now. And we should be thinking about what we project every single day, that we can absolutely dictate where we want to go in our future, how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and manipulate the energy, not in other people, but between ourselves and other people. Because if you're changing your energy, you're automatically changing what you're sharing.
Right. Right. And that goes to, you can only control what you are doing, how you react to something, what you're doing. So if you're doing your mantras and you're putting out there positivity, if you're putting out there love, if you're putting out there that you want to achieve X, Y, and Z goal, that's why goal-oriented people are so successful, because they have goals and they keep putting it out there. They're doing mantras is what they're doing. That's the real secret to that, to setting goals. That's when, mom and dad told you, set a goal, have a goal. It gives you something to drive for, but you're also playing that tape in your head.
They're picturing themselves in the role already, doing what they want to do. And that is what's so important, because time is a human contrivance. Okay. Really, it's not just time is passing us by. We're walking into time. We're walking through time. And so we can't help but walk into the future we're preparing for. So if you're preparing for success and seeing yourself in success, you're going to choose those paths every day.
Right.
You're just absolutely going to walk in that direction. And if you're not going in that direction fast enough, you could honestly say, why? Show me what I'm doing that I can do differently. All right.
Yes.
It's not about being wrong. It's about not getting what you want. What can you change?
Yeah. I don't think there is such a thing as being wrong. I think there's just choices.
Being human.
It's being human?
Soulful.
Yes.
And being human, to err is human. Well, yes.
But we're supposed to learn from those errors.
That's right.
So I don't think wrong or mistakes, I don't think any of that's bad. That's all meant to teach you and guide you to where you're supposed to go on your path, and be a better you. And so be you, always be the best you can be in that moment. And everybody else is taken, so you might as well just be you.
And I want to put there's a caveat to the whole thing of you can't control someone else. I want everyone to know that if you demand truth, if you demand to hear truth within yourself, we're not talking about demanding it from somebody else.
Right.
You're talking about between you and God, if it's God who you worship, or the universe, whoever it is that you worship. We're talking soulfully speaking, demand to know truth. If it's a relationship you need to know about or whatever, it's your direction, but you're part of that relationship.
Yes.
Now, I want you to know that when you demand truth, something goes on because the other person starts coming out with stuff that you're like out of the woodwork. People will come in and you will start to see and hear truth about that person, even coming out of their own mouth.
Yeah.
They might all of a sudden start telling you things they never told you before that could either make you realize you need to get out of this relationship, or it's good to come in and be okay with it.
How about you also, and that's a great thing to do. I totally support that. I did it myself and I do it myself, but be prepared.
To hear it.
You will be shocked.
Yes.
You will be surprised at what you hear, and be prepared.
But there's something about willing our own best life and demanding truth in the best, because that is going to dictate energy that's going to trigger other people. And all of a sudden, they're either going to be gone or they'll be coming in. Whether they're good, they're going to come in. If they're not, they're out.
It's so true. And thank you so much, Donna, for being on it. I'd love to have you back again. Everyone, please get my mini book of Mighty Mantras. It's on Amazon.com. Thank you for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle. My heart is lifted by sharing this time with you. I want to thank Donna again for being on. And of course, Brian, our producer. If you miss any interviews or would like to hear some previous interviews, look for us on SoundCloud. Look for Healthy Lifestyle with LA. Remember, do a little something for yourself every day. It starts there. It doesn't have to be big, but definitely take a moment, do something for yourself, create the habit, create the new balance, start your mantras. You are the best you because everyone else is taken. Thank you again for joining us on Healthy Lifestyle. I'm Lori Ann Casdia. Until next time, show up for you and show up big.